Morning, everyone. Welcome to our June Provider Resource Fair. This month, we'll be highlighting two programs by our system partner, Bright Harbor Healthcare, including Bayside Adolescent IOP program and the Embrace program. We're super excited to be highlighting both of these programs, and hopefully we can connect some of our youth and families to them. We'll start with Morgan, who will be presenting on behalf of Bayside, and then move to Isabel, who will be highlighting the Embrace program. Morgan, feel free to take it away.
Sure. I'm just figuring out how to share my screen.
So the share button next to Mike,
Okay.
and then you just click that under screen.
Okay.
Click that and that should work. But if you have any issues, I have the presentation that you sent over to Katie, so I can always share it if needed.
If you want to pull it up, I am trying, but it's
Yeah,
like there's just a cancel option. It doesn't say like when I click on the actual document, it's not opening.
that's weird. I'm pulling it up now, so just give me a second.
Actually, maybe this worked.
Yep, we see it.
Okay. Now it's good. Everyone can see it.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So, Bayside is the adolescent partial care program with Bright Harbor Healthcare. Just some basic information. So we do provide services for youth anywhere between 11 and 17 years old. They can turn 18 in program. We just can't admit once they're 18. Anyone struggling with mental health, behavioral, substance use. So we do offer the co-occurring services. Services include individual support counseling, group therapy. It's very heavy on the group therapy aspect at this level of care, family therapy if the youth and the family need, medication management if they need psychiatric and meds through program. We do offer that. And then we do offer like different types of activities. So social, recreational, our summer program, which we'll talk about, does incorporate a lot more of that because it's a longer day. So we go out a lot in the community. Right now, during the school year, our program hours are 3 to 6, so it is after school hours. And then in the summer, which starts this year on June 22nd, is 11 to 4. So it's more of a day program in the summer. Primarily, we take Medicaid. So I usually explain it as Medicaid covers us. Private insurance usually will cover your IOP and your PHP. And then we're kind of that little middleman in between of PCP that Medicaid covers. We have been lucky and fortunate enough. Sometimes we do have referrals for kids with private insurance, and we are able to get an authorization for it and get accepted. It might just be a little bit more pushback and help from the family in coordinating that, but we do try the best we can. As far as transportation, we do try to provide transportation as best as we can. Typically, we go anywhere, it's like north and south. So from like Brick to as far south as like Barnegat, Manahawkin. We don't usually provide transportation to like your Jackson, your Manchester. It would be on a case-by-case basis if we're allowed or we're able to kind of fit them into the schedule. Just some basic quick facts. So typically the kids are in program anywhere from 3 to 6 months. We never give a hard discharge date. So it's really based on the youth's progress, family. We have kids here who are doing excellent and really, really love the program. So sometimes they end up staying a little bit more than 6 months. We don't kick them out at a certain time. Typically, so at this level of care, the kids do have to come 4 to 5 days a week. Usually, if they have an in-home therapist, they'll come 4 days and then they'll meet with their IIC on that 5th day. If the IIC goes on the weekend, the kids are welcome to come 5 days. They just can't meet on the same day because they say it's a duplication. the referral, which I think I included on here. I did. So very simple referral process. You would just fill out the referral form as best as you can with the basic information. Send it over to me. My email is on the form. I know Caitlin said she was going to send that out to everyone as well. So you just fill it out the best as you can. You send it over to me. And then once I get it, I'll reach out to the family, schedule an intake. Currently, we do not have a wait list. So it's going pretty fast. So we'll do the intake and then I set up admission at the time of intake. So just a referral form here. Some information you might not be able to know, and that's okay. I'll kind of fill in the gaps when I meet with the family. Some sample group topics. So like I said, we do your main, like your coping skills, your anger management, your basic mental health behavioral groups, substance awareness. Then we kind of incorporate some different things. So we do have yoga once a month. We like to incorporate a lot of therapeutic activities. So we'll go out into the community and do things. We'll have different presenters come into program. So it's really based on the needs. We don't go off of one set curriculum, which is good. It gives us some flexibility. And then I did just include our summer program flyer. So our summer program does start very early this year. So June 22nd, and then it runs through the end of August because I know school goes back early for next school year. So same type of facilitation with the groups. We just do more activities within the community and outings. The times are 11 to 4 for the summer. So I know a lot of referral sources have been sending over referrals specific for the program, which is fine. I'll do the intakes and then get them started for June 22nd. Any questions or anything specific that anybody had or was interested?
I had a quick question. So, what does it look like when a youth is admitted to the program? Let's say after 6 months, they have completed the program, they have made progress, and they were using the medication provider through Bayside. Like, is there any sort of linkage potentially through Bright Harbor that you guys can coordinate for after transition from this program?
Yes. So as long as they successfully complete the program, we would set them up with an appointment for meds through outpatient. Ideally, we would want them, if they were doing outpatient, to link them to meds and therapy and outpatient. But I know outpatient does have a wait list for the children's. So they can continue with medication management if they liked our psychiatrist, if they wanted to continue with him. We would set that all up and it's kind of fluid. Otherwise, I mean, if they wanted to go elsewhere, we do encourage them to set that appointment up so we can make sure that there's a bridge and they're not like, hey, our discharge is in June and they can't get an appointment until September. We don't want them to kind of be without. So, but most, if they don't have an outside provider, they do stick with us and we just transition them to outpatient.
Great. That's awesome. And another question is, for youth that are Spanish speaking, what does that look like within the Bayside program?
So typically for the youth that are Spanish speaking, unfortunately, we don't offer the translation within the group setting. However, we do have Marty, which is it's kind of like a Skype with the language line. So a lot of times what we've encountered is the youth are bilingual and then the parents are Spanish speaking. So we would set up the intake and then we use Marty to complete the intake. For ongoing communication with the parent and parent engagement, we would either typically use Marty unless the family prefers like a text message or something like that with translation. But we haven't really gotten any referrals for Spanish speaking youth. That would definitely be something we would have to kind of figure out and play around with on how. I don't know if our Marty will be able to kind of stay on for like that duration of 3 or 5 hours. But we definitely use it for the intake process and communication with the family.
And that's typically what we're seeing with our youth too. The youth are bilingual, and maybe the parents are just Spanish speaking. So that's good to know. Yeah, Jess.
I actually don't know how to put this hand back down, so I don't know if it'll go away on its own after I ask, but are there any behavioral needs that would impact a youth's ability to participate?
So exclusionary criteria for partial, and this is from the state, is fire setting and sexual perpetrator behaviors. They would have to have an eval that we would review. As long as the eval doesn't say that they need to be, they can't be around people, or, their risk factor is severe within the community, we kind of, based on the evaluation, we would take them. What we've kind of seen is we can manage the behavioral needs here. A lot of times where youth come in and say they have like a one-on-one aid in school, it is difficult in this setting because they don't have a one-on-one person here. So we do have the reset room. We do, work together if they need to step out of group, but that's been the biggest challenge, but nothing would exclude them. We take everyone pretty much. I try to at least give them a chance and try it out and see if it's the best fit. I know group isn't for everybody, but we do try to give them a chance.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions for Morgan and Bayside? Well, thank you so much. This was great and super informative. And like I said, I will definitely send this presentation and the referral form out. So, and then would your contact be the best for if anyone had any questions?
Yep, they can contact me, email, or call. I think my phone number is on the beginning. On the referral form, it does just have my email, but either way, they can reach me and I'll always reach back out.
Perfect. Sounds good. So I'll include that too. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'm going to stop sharing. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. And now we will move to Isabel, who is going to present on behalf of another Bright Harbor program, the Embrace program. So Isabel, take it away.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Morning.
So I don't have some cool stuff to share because I'm not as tech savvy as Morgan, which is awesome. But if you want to put my flyer up that I sent you, if you're able to, by all means, please do. And so I'll, once you get it up there, I'll talk more.
Perfect. Sounds. Just give me a minute. It's giving me a little trouble opening.
No worries. It didn't even want to let me, so I was like, I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay, can everyone see that?
Awesome. Okay, thank you for that. So we're the Embrace Grief and Trauma Center, and so we are working on a 5-year SAMHSA grant. We're about a year and a half in right now, and so what we're being given the great opportunity to do is build this Grief and Trauma Center. And so we provide individual, family, and group therapy to children and teens and their parents, their guardians. We start as early as age 5 and up. We accept most insurances, Medicaid, of course. We follow very similar in terms of that, like Bayside does, under the umbrella of Bright Harbor Healthcare. And so what we provide is when anybody starts with the individual therapy or the family therapy, we can go up to a year. So every 3 months we do an assessment, reassessment, see how they're doing. We work with the family, work with the children, and we continue going from there. And then it's very rare we're allowed to do any extensions, and this is primarily because of the grant right now. So, but what we've seen is when we do get closer to the year, most often the families and the children are ready. They're ready. They're done with the program. It's not saying that they can't come back. They can. The grant allows that within like a 6 to 8 months if needed. They can come back in, and if they still need the continued services. Uh, I sent here's our flyer. I also sent our referral form. So you just fill out that referral form. You can email it to me, or you can, the person can bring it in. Sometimes we've had parents fill it out at the front desk, hand it in. Um, they could even give me a call. The extension you see on there is actually to our front desk, but they would transfer that to me, no problem. And if anybody wanted to contact me directly, my extension is 707. Happy to answer any questions in regards to our program. One of the exciting things we're getting ready to launch very soon here is we were trained in what's called the Dougie model, a grief center out in Portland, Oregon. And so part of what we are building right now are called expression rooms. And so during group sessions, what we're going to be able to provide to the kids and to the teens are these expression rooms where they're able to go in and process their grief through whether it's play, it's through art. What we're prepping right now is a room that looks like a hospital so they can process any kind of medical trauma that went on. We have an art room that we're building. We also have what's called a high energy room. That room is going to, actually, we had someone just recently donate to us a huge kickboxing stand and some gloves. And also, there's going to be some games for the kids, like the basketball hoop. We're trying to get that donated as well, the basketball machines, like so that those kids who need to like move and they're not going to want to sit in group and talk through group, which a lot of kids don't. They need to move, they need to play, they need to express themselves through art, and we're trying to provide that for them. There's also going to be a sensory room where we're going to have a water table and a sand table. And so I can say when I went through my training, I actually went out to Portland, Oregon 2 years ago and spent a week out there training under the Dougie Center and getting a chance to see these models, this model work, and it was amazing. And so now we're being given the opportunity to bring that here to Bright Harbor Healthcare. So I'm really extremely excited about that. Once we get our rooms fully done, then we're going to do an open house with all our providers, invite all of you to come and actually see it and experience it for yourselves so you can be able to speak to it to the families and say, yeah, this is what they got for you guys. And we want the kids, we want them to come. And part of the model also, which is really great, is not only are the kids getting the group therapy, but part of the requirement is that the caregiver or the parent also has to attend their own group therapy that we'll be providing for the adults at the same exact time. So this way they're in one room having their therapy. We'll have coffee for them. You know, we're going to make it comfortable. And in this great other room, the kids are going to be having a good old time doing their expression. They're working through using the expression rooms during the group therapy, which is going to last for about an hour and a half. And any questions? Because I get to talking and I don't stop. So
I just stopped sharing, but I had a question. So, like, a youth is referred. What does a typical week look like? How often are sessions? Is it once a week?
good
What's the
question. Yeah.
schedule like?
So it's a 55-minute session once a week. What we do is for the first 3 months, we're doing the once a week, that 55-minute. At the end of those 3 months, we're assessing to see do they still need that. Most often they do, because that's when we're seeing the trust really being built with the clinician. That's when we're seeing they're starting to open up a little bit more. And so that'll usually continue all the way through to the 9 months, is that once a week. And then we move towards biweekly the last 3 months. This way we're transitioning the family and the children now therapeutically and ethically. That's the right way to do it. So this way they're not feeling like all I got is you. And what we're doing through all that beautiful therapy happening is helping them learn and be able to reach out in the community to other groups that they may be going to, or other or even family members or friends, and really working with them on those therapeutic skills. And so yeah, that's a
It,
piece
it
of that.
really speaks to the sustainability approach, I feel like, and especially with you including the families in that as well. I think that that really speaks to that. So that's amazing.
It's really
Um,
important to include them. Yeah.
I noticed on the flyer that it says like grief and trauma. So say a youth that maybe they didn't experience a loss, but there is some trauma there, maybe like parental substance use, something like that, neglect. Um, would they be a good fit for this program?
They would be, yes. And so the trauma piece can absolutely be a lot of times, like when we say loss or we say grief, many times people will think it only means death, but grief can be, they might be in foster care. There might be the loss of a parent because the parent's incarcerated, or maybe they're feeling loss of parent because the parent is engaging in substance abuse and they're not allowed to be around their parent right now. So those kids we absolutely can take in and see also. We do have some exclusionary criteria. It's similar to Lake Bayside with the fire setting or any sexual predatory behaviors. For us, we also, and we do an assessment in the beginning. Also, we cannot take in kids who have like severe behavioral problems because one of the premises for that is that that piece needs to be addressed first before we can then go into the grief and the trauma piece. Because when we start addressing grief and trauma, that's a whole other area. That brings up a whole lot of other things. And a lot of times what we'll see is that's how kids express their grief is through behavioral. And so those are those things that we look for to them to have addressed sometimes through our children and families outpatient program. And then they'll transfer them over to us and we'll work with them through the grief and trauma piece. So.
Absolutely. And then similar question to what I asked Morgan, for Spanish speaking families, what does that look like?
Okay, so I have one staff that whenever we see there's a need for a group that we need bilingual group, he actually speaks Spanish, he's bilingual, and so he'll run those groups for us. So we
Okay.
were able to run a parent group at one point, bilingual parent group, and it was great. We actually went out into the community out in Lakewood to do it. As you know, because of our current environment, a lot of families are afraid to come. They're
Yeah.
afraid to do that. So we're trying our best to meet their needs out in the community. And so another piece that we do through Embrace is, let's say there is unfortunately a loss in the school, whether it's by suicide or death of a student from something traumatic. What we do is we reach out to the schools and we offer them 8-week group counseling that we go into the school to provide it. So this way the kids don't have to worry about transportation. And then we assess the need from there. If we see that there's something even greater needed, or we see maybe even the parents need it also, we offer that to them as well.
That's amazing. That is such great work. Thank you. And where's the office for Embrace? Is it the same as Bayside, the Bailey?
Yes, 40
Okay.
Bailey. We're just down
Hmm.
the hall from each other.
Love that. Any other questions for Isabel and Embrace?
I have a question for you, Isabel. When you had said if there's a loss at a school and then you have the ability to go in for 8 weeks and provide counseling, how does that initially get initiated? Does someone from the school have to outreach, or can we do referrals because the youth that we're working with are being impacted by a loss in their school? Like, how does that look when it's school-based?
So what we do is we'll reach out to the school, like
Okay.
some of unfortunately the most recent
Yes.
losses that we've seen. We'll reach out to the child study team. We'll reach out to anybody who's willing to listen, and we let them know via email or even phone call, hey, we're here for you guys. If you're seeing you have a lot of students being impacted, even staff, please let us know. We can come in. We do not charge for the group whatsoever. The great piece of that is that the grant can cover that piece. So we go in and we provide those services for them. And if you're seeing also, which we'll even create groups here in the agency, is if we see like, let's say from out Ocean Partnership for Children, you guys are like, hey, we got about 5 kids all impacted by the same thing. Can you help us out with that? We're more than happy to create a group for those kids. More than happy to provide that for them, because what we see too is when we have the groups, when they're seeing that shared experience, it doesn't feel as scary. It's not as
Mhm.
hard to process as when they come in for individual. A lot of times we're met with, you don't understand what I'm going through. Nobody gets me. Nobody understands that. When they see other youth who are going through the same thing, there's almost like that release of like, okay, I'm not alone on this. Somebody else understands. I hope that answers that,
Absolutely.
Jessica. If it doesn't, I can go into more detail.
No, it does. Thank you. It sounds like when there's a need for it, that there's some flexibility to
Yes,
support the youth. So thank
absolutely.
you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right. Well, I want to thank you ladies both so much, just on behalf of the community for the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for attending and sharing with us. Like I said, I'll send out the recording, the referral forms, your contact info if there's any questions, and keep us posted for sure if you have any new programs, any updates, or the open house, like you mentioned, Isabel. We definitely want to attend that. So definitely keep us in the loop.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.